My name is Cheryl Magnuson. I am the owner of Majestic Interior Design here in Bloomington, Normal. I've had it for about 20 years. When I started the business, it was just myself, and I have a team of 7, and we do residential and commercial interior design.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. So to start off, how did you get to where you are today?
So I'm an artist by nature. So I've always painted, drawn, done sculpture, et cetera, but I knew when I was growing up that I didn't want to do a career in art. Like I didn't want to sit there and do paintings for a job, right? So I decided to go to school and get all of my college and get all of my basic stuff done while I'm trying to figure it out, right? So I went to a community college. I still worked almost full time while I was going to school. And I was working retail in the mall as assistant manager at a store. And I started realizing that I was attracted to fabrics, textures, home magazines, et cetera, et cetera. And so I called this store that already existed in Bloomington, Normal. And I said, hey, I've been in your store. It was a retail store where she sold items like mirrors and accessories and furniture, et cetera. And I said, how did you get it? I said, I'd like to come in and talk to you to find out how you got into this business. And if you have any advice for me as far as what path I should take, if this is the career I chose to follow. And so she's like, yeah, sure, come in. And I ended up talking with her. Her name was Bonnie. I worked with her. So actually, I should say this. So I talked with her for about 2 hours. And during that time, I was learning a lot about it, and she saw my passion. And I couldn't believe this. She actually offered me a job on the spot. I did not go there looking for a job, expecting an interview, anything like that. And she, I guess, saw my passion for it, and she offered me a job. And so I said, let me think about this. I took a big pay cut from leaving retail as a manager and worked for Bonnie for about 6 years. And meanwhile, I continued my education, transferred my credits to Illinois State University here in Bloomington, moved to Bloomington. I grew up, 30 minutes away, so it wasn't a big move. And like I said, worked for her for 6 years, and then she closed her store back in 2006. And in 2006, I was married to someone at the time, and he's like, just open up your own business. He's like, we already own a building. He's like, open it up. I'm like, okay, because I never thought that I would have to do that. And so I opened it up in 2006, and like I mentioned, it was just myself. And I got busier and busier and busier, and I finally asked someone at the carpet store, I'm like, I am so busy, I don't know what to do. And they're like, well, why don't you call Nicole, who you used to babysit for her, because she used to do this design and she worked at Carpet Weavers. And I'm like, okay. I called her, I'm like, Nicole, it's your old babysitter. Do you want to get back into design work again? And she was like, yeah, sure. So she was the first one to join me. And then it just grew organically from there. So I had people that say, my next person worked at the tile store. Her name was Courtney, and she's still with me to this day. So is Nicole. And she was like, hey, can you tell me how your business works? And I'm like, sure. So I kind of told her, and she's like, do you think I could work with you? I'm like, sure. So that's kind of how it happened. I just kept meeting people along the path of this 20 years. And like I said, now I have a team of 7. So I have 3 full-time designers, 2 part-time designers, a design assistant, and a bookkeeper, and then another bookkeeper for when the other bookkeeper gets behind. So we do a lot of projects, but that is literally how I got started. It's by being an artist and not really knowing what I wanted to do, taking my time to figure it out, and then someone gave me an opportunity which I wasn't expecting.
It's amazing to hear how your story, you started from one spot and you came this far. So what exactly does an interior designer do?
We do a lot of things. So anything interior. So that means, let's just give an example. There's a few things. We can do remodels, we do new construction, we do commercial as well. So when someone's building a home, right, there's so many decisions to make. You have to choose every paint color, every cabinet color, every door style, every countertop, every faucet, every drain, every mirror, every light. And so it's a lot of moving parts, right? So a lot of people, when they build a home, it can get really overwhelming. And so people will hire us to help them make those decisions, because we will ensure that the plan flows, right? You don't walk into one room and it doesn't feel detached or super weird compared to the rest of the house, at least on the main level. Now, when you get upstairs to bedrooms, you can let your kid do what they want and things like that. But, making sure the house flows well, flooring works well together. You don't have 5 different floorings meeting the same place, et cetera, et cetera. So, excuse me. That's how a residential, new construction works. We also do remodels too. So say you just bought a house and you moved in, you're like, oh, I love everything except the kitchen needs to be redone, right? It's old cabinetry, it needs to be updated. So we will help that person come up with a plan. We will go into their homes. We will do an initial consultation. We will talk with them about what they like, what they don't like about the house. We'll find out how they live. We'll learn about their family. So when your family meets, are the kids doing homework in the kitchen, etc.? Do you have pets? Do you have to worry about like pets and kids and grandkids and things that could break, things like that? So we ask a lot of questions. We get to know people. So for like the remodel, again, we will help choose everything. We'll do the layout, right? So maybe it says people like, oh, I love my kitchen, but this doesn't function well. We will scrap the original plan, draw a whole new layout of an entirely new kitchen, help them again pick out every cabinet, every door style, every countertop, every faucet, light fixture, etc., and make sure they love it. And then we'll work with contractors and fabricators to get it done. So we don't ever run any labor through us. We are strictly the design. So we pull everything together for them, and then we work with contractors. So say they need someone to do the work, we have good working relationships with a lot of local contractors that we can refer for the job, and they work with the client directly with our guidance. So that's remodels for residential, and then commercial. So that's gonna be businesses, right? So commercial is gonna be a dentist office. So right now we're working with a friend, Sarah is her name. She has Swanland Dentistry here in Bloomington Normal. And she's like, this was my dad's practice. It needs to be redone. It's now my practice. I want to make this more of my personality. And so we came up with a design plan for it. We are looking at ceiling treatments. We're looking at light fixtures. We're looking at window treatments, wall covering. There's signage for promotion. They're part of their marketing stuff as far as like, what does your sign look on your wall? How is it going to be, displayed, things like that. So that is kind of commercial. So we do that. We just got done also doing hospitality, which is hotels. So we just did the DoubleTree here in Bloomington Normal. We just redid their whole lobby check-in area. And a few years ago, we did their ballroom. So I will say this about the work is that it's really fun because it is so diverse. You're helping people, you're helping businesses. So it's great. It's just an all-around, very creative thing to do.
That is so cool. So I was like wondering what your favorite project was. Like, what is a favorite thing you've ever like remodeled or like designed for someone?
For myself personally, I think my favorite one was a primary suite, right? Where there is a primary bedroom and a primary bathroom where the homeowners stay, right? And it was so fun because there wasn't really a budget. So we usually have to work with budgets, right? People are gonna be like, I want to spend some money here, but not a whole lot here. But these people, they're awesome people in our community. They're very community involved. They happen to own the hotel I just talked about. They own the hotel. They own a lot of properties here in the community. And they're like, we need to redo part of our house. Will you please help us out? And it was really fun because I was able to just go find this beautiful marble tile. It was a white marble with like black laser cut inlay of black onyx in it. And it's just gorgeous. And that was my inspiration. So I did this white marble bathroom with this black inset tile, black accents. We did a black countertop on type of soft silver, light gray cabinetry is what I'll call it, with polished nickel fixtures, the shower, the freestanding tub with a chandelier over it. And then we did the bedroom, we did the carpet, we did the bedding, the bed, the nightstands, the lamp, the custom draperies. And it was such a fun project because even though I got to do whatever I wanted, I still had to make it that person's personality. And so you really get to know them. You really get to know what they like, what they don't like, as I mentioned before. And so it's very satisfactory when you get to know someone and you show them the plan and they're like, oh my gosh, I love this so much. And so that's like the best first part of the work. And then it's really, really great too, as it's being worked on. And when it gets done and they're like, I just love my bathroom. I just love my bedroom. It's awesome. So there's a lot of satisfaction that happens. But that's one of my favorite ones, just because it didn't have a budget and I got to make it as beautiful as I wanted.
So what sort of high school and college courses did you take that helped you what skills transferred over to interior design?
Sure. In high school, again, not knowing what I wanted to do and just doing my natural ability, which was art, right? And in college too, I took a ton of art, again, sculpture, drawing, painting, and I just enjoyed it, right? That definitely helps. I would say when you're thinking if you want to go into interior design, you need to have some innate ability to put colors together. You need to have some innate ability to understand balance and what visually looks good together, right? So say you're accessorizing bookshelves. you need to understand what makes this shelf looks balanced with the next 4 shelves above and below it, right? So there definitely is a place where you have, like I said, to have some natural innate talent to be able to do it. So high school, I just did the basics plus my art. College, I started off just doing art and my other basics there. And then once I knew that this is what I was going into and transferred my credits over to Illinois State University, then I specifically took interior design classes there. And the interior design classes were very much geared toward commercial. They have a great program here, and it's actually called what's FIDER accredited. And so it's a very high level. They do a great job. And so I transferred all my credits there, took the interior design courses. But besides the interior design courses, speaking of skill sets and things that I think you need to be able to do, being able to communicate clearly, being able to talk with people, get to know them, understand them, and basically be a kind of a good people person, because you're in their home. You're getting to know them. You're getting to know their kids. You're getting to know their pets. Like, you need to be a somewhat of a people person to be able to do like the residential side of things where you're in contact with people all the time. And then when you do commercial, say you're doing hospitality, you have other realms that you don't have to be such a people person sometimes, right? So in my business we do, but you can work for a larger corporation, say like in Chicago or New York or something, and you can literally sit behind a desk and just do floor plans all day. You can lay out offices, you can lay out hotels, you can lay out restaurants, and that doesn't require that people skill. So one of the things I do notice about even bringing in interns or people that are a little bit younger than me onto my team, one thing I noticed is that they don't want to pick up the phone and call. So, right? So they'll be like, well, hey, do you think this vendor would do this or that? I'm like, just call him. And they're like, well, I'm just going to send an email. I'm like, no, just pick up the phone and call him. So, so communication skills are really important. Being able to pick up the phone, call people, build those relationships, because to me, everything's about relationships. So whether it's your client relationship, whether it's your vendor relationship, and sometimes you'll come across problems and challenges, issues that come up. Maybe say something doesn't come in right, or something didn't get executed the way it was supposed to. Again, not as common, but it's going to happen in any work or job that you do. And being able to communicate well is a strong skill set that's needed, right? And so if you've built that relationship with that person, you've gotten to know them, you have a good rapport with each other, those challenges and issues will be much easier to navigate. So in addition to college classes that teach you technical skills, those relationship skills are very, very important as well.
Yeah, I feel like apart from like the interior designer skills that you talked about, like people skills are really important too, because you're fixing these people's like homes or where they work. Like they spend a lot of time in this area, so it's really important that it like matches them. So what does a day-to-day life look like? What does your day-to-day life look like?
Life is great because it's never the same. So being a creative person, everyone on our team makes their own schedules, right? So we don't have we have a basically kind of like a retail location, but not retail hours. I don't sell items off the floor per se. Our studio is a building you walk into. It's got beautiful 2-story windows, a gigantic chandeliers, and a stairs up the middle. It's a very open concept. And that's where we have our fabric library, our quartz countertop library. We have a lighting gallery in there. So it's very much a creative space. So again, back to the hours. We don't have any set hours. Most of the times during the week, you'll find one of us there. Sometimes we're all there. Sometimes I'm just there. So there is no typical day. So every project is different. Every client is different. And so some days I have to meet a contractor because contractors like to get up early. Contractors, they'll be like, oh, meet me at 7:30 at someone's house, right? So we do that. And then there are days where I'm sitting there, working till 6 p.m. trying to get everything done. So there's no typical day. There are days where we are out at people's homes. We're meeting with them right for the first time, doing that initial consultation. There are days where we're setting up a presentation to have them in the studio so they can see everything we've laid out for them and present to them, which is a really fun day as well. There are days where we're going on to new construction sites. I'm walking into new homes that are being built. The wood frame's up, the siding's on. There's no plumbing, there's no walls, there's no electrical. And we walk through with the builder or the homeowner or both and talk about where we're going to put lights, We talk about where the wiring, we say, oh, we want the option of decide if we want sconces to the wall or ceiling lighting or both. And I tell the electrician, leave the wiring in the space, right? We want to have flexibility with it. So every day is so different. We are at tile stores. We are at carpet stores. I go to Chicago. Actually, just Friday I was in Chicago. I go to the merchandise mart. I find fabric samples for my clients. So every day is really different. There are no set hours. And every client and every project is super different. So I am not a routine person, so I really like that because I like every day being very different. There's no set schedule.
So knowing how you do different projects, some commercial and some residential, how long does the process take for each?
You're not going to get a straight answer on this one either. so because every project is so different, right? So it depends on the scale, the scope of the project. It depends on the contractor schedule. There are some contractors we work with, they're like, oh, I'm booked till next spring, right? But here's the thing, that gives us time to get things planned, get things ordered. So for example, people that we're meeting with right now, and what are we in November, almost. So we're meeting with people now, and we may not be starting their project till 4 or 5 months from now. It takes a couple months for cabinetry to come in. Sometimes items are back ordered. Sometimes we order a wall covering and they're like, oh, I ordered fabric the other day and they're like, oh, that's not coming in until December 15th. So there is no set time a project's going to take. And it's the most common question we get because people are like, oh, well, when do you think we can have this done by, right? And we tell them we are not able to control that. We can control what we do, which is the design process, right? So we can come up with the plan, help them find everything, do the presentation. But once we've done that and it goes to ordering product, and we're ordering and we're waiting for contractors, that's not in our hands anymore. And so we do our best. We communicate with our contractors. If there's a date they're trying to get it done by, let's say they're having a big party for a holiday or something, we will do our best to tell the contractor, explain to the vendors, we really need it in by this date. The client really needs it, but we try not to do that. We try to let people know, hey, the sooner you let us know you want to do a project, the better, and the less stressful it is. Because I will tell you, when we've done projects before and it's a rush because they're like, oh my gosh, I need to have it. We're moving into the house. I need to have all these things done. It's stressful on them and it's stressful on us. And then what happens? Things come in and they're broken. So you think the countertop measure is going to happen? Well, the sink came in broken twice because things happen in delivery. The furniture comes in broken because think about it. You have a heavy piece of furniture that has to ship in, a big heavy console, a big heavy bed, a dresser. In shipping, these things happen. So you have damages, you have delays, you have back orders. So unfortunately, we cannot give a normal timeline for any project. There's too many variables that we have to work around. We do let them know we'll do our best, but we can't make guarantees on it because there are too many factors that are outside of our control. So there's really not a typical time frame. And like I said, we just let our customers know that we will do the best on our end to get what they need it done.
It's definitely understandable because there's just so many things that really aren't in your control. So I had a question regarding how long do you guys typically stick around? Like you mentioned, you work on the design, you get to know them, you suggest a design, do your presentation. So then do you stick around until the whole thing's done, or do you just give them the design and have your contractors build it? What exactly is your reach in the whole process?
One of the things we always want to do is work with that contractor, work with those installers. So we are there for the entire process, right? We don't have to stand there side by side, but we are on call if that installer's like, hey, where does this wall covering end? How do you want me to handle this corner, right? Or the plumber's like, which way do you want the handles to turn on this faucet, right? So we will be available at any time to talk with those installers and make sure everything gets done the way we envision it. It's our vision. So we very much care how it gets installed and how things are done. So yeah, we're there for the whole experience.
So how do you guys put your ideas together? Do you guys have a software you use, or do you use paper floor plans? How does it work?
So yes, the old school way is to draw out a floor plan with drawing to scale, right? With the scale and doing everything so you can make sure pieces fit in. So some of my team does hand drawings, which is what I grew up doing. Some of my team does hand drawings, and then other people use Sketchup. So that's kind of the software that they use. There are other programs out there that we might get one day, but right now Sketchup has improved a lot. It's not just super basic anymore, and you're able to plug in items actual things that look like the light fixture that you're specifying. So that's been a really good program. So Yeah, so it's drawings, it's SketchUp, it's some technology. One of the things I'll say, and I've talked to other students about this, is that moving forward, what I really believe is going to happen in interior design, if it's not already happening, is VR, so virtual reality, right? I really think that one day customers, clients are going to expect that, hey, I want to look at my room in 3D reality, right? So I think that VR is going to be a skill that not hardly many designers have right now, but I think it's something if they educated in how to do it, that it will definitely be used in interior design in the future. I don't think that just looking at a piece of paper or looking at a rendering is going to do it for people anymore. So yes, we use that technology, but I think there's more technology to come, which is exciting. So yeah, I won't be able to do it, but I will definitely hire people that can.
So going off your statement on how you think VR will change the interior designing world, how else do you think interior design will change in the next decade or so, especially involving AI?
I actually posed that to my team, bringing up the AI thing, right? So I asked my team, do you guys think that AI will take away our jobs, right? That's what everybody's question right now. Will we lose our jobs? And our answer is, as a collective team, that no, it will not take away our job. And the reason why is because what we do is very personalized. It's very much getting to know that client, again, understanding their lifestyle and their family and how they live. And AI, sure, you can say right now, you can be like, hey, AI, draw me a photo of my living room done in an urban, modern, vibey look, right? And you can do that, you can get it. But then where are you getting the product? What items are you actually specifying, right? So we have direct accounts with vendors. We are specifying every light fixture, every faucet, every countertop, every finish in that space. And so that's a more personalized service than what you're gonna get with AI. Now, can AI evolve to maybe get there? Absolutely, but I don't think people that hire us anyway are going to be like, I just want AI to do my house for me, right? So again, the people, our clientele, the people that hire us, a lot of times they have disposable income to be able to hire us in the first place, right? People hire us for different reasons. People hire us because, number one, they're not sure. They're like, I really don't have any skill set in interiors and colors. I don't know how to pick colors. I don't know how to do any of it. I know what I like when I see it, but I don't know how to do it. So people hire us for that reason because they just don't know. Other people hire us because they don't have time. They're like, I'm CEO of a company. I don't have time to do this. I'm taking my kids 50 million directions. I don't have time to think about this. So then we just do it for them. They're like, great, order everything, let's go. So people hire us for different reasons. And I don't think that AI or a different technology will take that personal connection away from our relationship with our clients. So in general, right now, we're not worried.
I feel like that's definitely really important. I feel like any conversation I've had about AI, it's always ended with like, AI can't do personal connections. So another question we had is like, do you see any positive benefits out of AI or anything else that could evolve in the interior design field?
It's like anything. It's like the internet, right? Everything can have good sides and bad sides, right? So definitely, I think AI is amazing, and we're starting to use it in our emails, our communications with our clients. Like, I'll craft an email and be like, okay, I make this more professional. Take out Cheryl's smiley face. So no, I definitely think AI has its place, and we're using it. I'm probably going to start using it to help me, which I'm taking on myself, wish me luck, starting to do like the more Instagram posts and that sort of thing, right? So my role is really developed into business development, okay? So when I bring in jobs, I'm very, like I said, active in the community. I know a lot of people. I bring in a lot of the work. And so my job is going to evolve into business development, basically, right? So so I will be using AI I'll be like, hey, AI, what should I write a blog on? Well, how can I promote my business in these different ways? And this is stuff that like, I just don't know. I'm not a marketing person, right? But AI is there to help me, so I'm definitely going to use it. So I think it definitely has its place, and I'm excited to make it more an active part of how we do business.
So I know you mentioned that you get inspiration, like a lot of inspiration from your clients. You use your personality to help them design. But have you ever like met a project where you just like did not know what to do and you kind of had a little bit of an artist block?
Not really. Okay, so not really. So this is what we do, right? This is what our passion is. This is we are all creative on the inside, the people that do this. So, and here's the thing. Now we do have clients that are like, I don't know what to do. I don't even know what I like, right? There are some people that they're like, they could be an accounting major. I don't know numbers. So they could be an accounting major. Like, I don't do colors. I don't know how this all works, right? And they don't know what they like. So our job is we'll ask them questions. So like, when you buy clothes, what colors are you drawn to? What colors do you hate, right? I'll find a different way to ask the questions to get to know them, right? We dig in and get to know them a lot. And then once we do, we will find something to start with for our inspiration. So for example, if someone says, oh, I like things that are modern, but I don't want to look too stark, but here's the colors I like, or I like abstract, or I like things that look a little bit in the middle, like transitional, like not too traditional, not too modern. So we will start with possibly say like a rug, okay? So if we find the right rug, that is giving us colors and patterns and things to work off of that we pull everything from. So I would say, not really. We don't really have those blocks. It's a matter of digging in and getting to know that client and then finding an inspirational piece. The other thing we've worked around is actually like a piece of artwork. So if someone says, nothing is from SSA except I love this piece of artwork. This is what I want to work off of. These are the colors I like. I don't know why I like it, but I want to make it work. So we will actually use their items for our inspiration. So it's just a matter of finding out what that is. And usually, again, we're pretty good at getting to know people, so we can usually dig in, even if they say, I don't know what I like. We're pretty good at finding it out. So no, I don't think we have any blocks.
Do you ever feel like your personal preferences get in the way of giving your client what's best for them and like what looks the best to them?
Not necessarily. So again, here's why. Us being creatives, what we love about the work is that it's different for every client and every person, right? So that challenge, we actually love it. So I like being given a project that's not my taste at all and being able to execute it really well so that client's really happy. So we love that. So yes, I have my own personal taste. I'm in my home. This is artwork I like. I wouldn't put that in most people's houses necessarily, but I happen to like it myself. So no, I wouldn't say our personal tastes get in the way. But what is really fun and really satisfying is when you happen across that client that actually likes the same things you do, and you're like, oh no, this is really fun because like you get to take it out on them in a good way, right? So like I have a really good friend who's been my client, and I've done her house for years now. Every year we're doing something different, right? And it's a process. And so she just knows that when I pick things out, she's like, oh, Cheryl knows what I like. Cheryl knows what I like. So it is really fun to come across that client who has a similar taste to you, because we get even more enjoyment out of it. But at the same time, it's just almost as equally as fun to do someone whose taste is so different from mine, right? So like I have a client who loves traditional. She likes French country. I'm definitely not French country, but it's really fun to go look at French country furniture, to go find the traditional things and still let her keep things updated a little bit. So when someone has a certain style they like, we go all in, we're all for it, but we will also tell them if something looks dated, like in a bad way, right? There's things that are old and vintage that can be freaking awesome and you can work around them and they're amazing, but there's things that sometimes need to be refreshed in their house, and we will let them know that. But yeah, every style is super fun, and we like doing things that are very different from our personalities and personal tastes.
It's amazing to hear how you can work around so many things all the time. So what sort of challenges do you guys face?
They come in different forms. The simple basic ones that I mentioned a little bit earlier are delays and back orders, right? You found the perfect fabric, you found the perfect piece of furniture, and you can't get it for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. We've waited longer for things. So that's disappointing, right? Because the client is so excited and you want to order it, and then all of a sudden you find out you can't have it for a half a year, right? That's a challenge. Just because you're dealing with people, as in any job you deal with people, there are personality challenges, right? It has to do with client expectations sometimes. We do our best to handle client expectations. I have this sheet that talks about delays and back orders and things that are out of our control. We explain that we're not in charge of the contractors and their schedule. Sometimes clients will get upset because the contractor can't get there, or they're not showing up because they're on 3 different jobs. Again, things that are out of our control. Then there are personality differences with our clients themselves and with us, right? So, which is again, a normal thing in any business that you're in. And so, for example, there might be someone who's just impatient, okay? So we have someone we're helping with right now. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying it's their lifestyle. It's how they are, right? As a person, they just want to order today, have it in tomorrow. like Amazon culture, okay? So you order something and if it's out here in 2 days, you're like, why is it taking so long, right? So that kind of thing doesn't really help in our industry a whole lot. So you have people that like want it yesterday. You have people that needed it yesterday. You have people that change their mind. So no joke, once in a while, you'll go to that client's house. He's like, oh, I decided the bathroom, we want it to be black and white. We want it to be this really stark, cool thing. And all of a sudden you come into the presentation, he's like, yeah, I think we've changed our mind. I think we want to warm it up a little bit. Like, I really listened to you. I really did a good job, but you changed your mind. And the thing is, we don't get upset about that. We just have to make the client know that, yeah, we will totally help you make it warmer. We'll do whatever, but we may have to revisit this whole project again. So that is a challenge as well. And then they're like, well, I have to pay you. You're like, yeah, you have to pay us for our time again. So there are definitely challenges. There's things that can go wrong. I'm trying to think of things. I don't keep negative things at the top of my head, so I have to pull it out. Let me think of something went wrong. Oh, I can give you an example. It just happened this last week. So we have a seamstress that makes all of our custom draperies. And she's had this fabric for 5 months. That is a very, very, way too long time to have that fabric. But here's what happened. She had health problems. She had a heart attack. She had a stroke. She had whatever. She had all these things, challenges in her personal life. And so at the same time, we're communicating that to our client. We are so sorry. Our seamstress is running behind. She's coming and she's hitting all things. And the client is understanding. The client's a nice person. Like, okay, we understand. They're not a mean person. They're like, but finally, by the time you hit 5 months, I understand that client's like, are my drapery window treatments ever going to get done, right? And I don't blame them for asking that question, right? Again, we're in the middle of that. We're not in charge of that. We still have to handle it. So that is a challenge that can come up. And so what's happened, I'll tell you what happened because it wasn't that fun. So the draperies, she finally got them done. I drove over to her house, picked them up, came back, and she's an amazing seamstress. But for some reason, because of everything she went through and this time that lapsed, she didn't make them correctly. They were 12 inches too short on the window. So of course, God bless our client, she did not rip our heads off. But we told her, we're like, we are so sorry. So now I have to have them remade. I have to find another seamstress. I have to figure it out. And then we have to have it made in a shorter time period because this client's already waited so many months. Again, things that are out of our control, but we still have to handle it. And so that's what's happening right now. I've got to work with my seamstress, my past one, and be like, okay, we need a credit. We need something. I have to buy all new fabric. We have to wait another several weeks to have it done. I have to pay for labor double to have this done. And so it's not a good situation, but we're handling it. And ultimately, we will take care of our client. I'm going to cover the cost for it. We're going to lose some money on it. But in the end, if my customer and my client are happy, that's what matters to me. I will take a loss on a job if it means making a client happy. And that honestly is one of the things I really enjoy about being an entrepreneur, is because that is in my control. When I worked for someone else, and if the client wasn't happy for whatever reason, the owner of that store wouldn't necessarily bend over backwards to make that client happy. And we lost clients because of that. Now, there are times when it's okay to lose a client because it may not have been the best fit. But for the most part, I love people. I'm a people person, and I want to make people happy. And I want them to love what we've done. And I want to keep our business reputation excellent, absolutely excellent. And so I will bend over backwards. I will take a loss if I have to make it right for the client. Because again, it's not the client's fault sometimes. It's not my fault. It's not the client's fault, but who's going to take the loss? If I want them to hire us again to do the next room or refer us to the next neighbor, the next friend, I will do that. So those are some examples of challenges that have not been fun, and it happens every once in a while. And what we try to do is learn from it. So what can we do differently? What are options going to be when this happens again? Are we going to have backup plans? Which we do. So the point is, you take a challenge, you find a solution, and then you think, what are we going to do to avoid this happening again in the future? And it might mean going to a different vendor, not using that same vendor again. Part of the process.
Is interior design a career to consider?
It is definitely a career to consider. And it's something, again, like I said, if you want to be creative, you want to help people, you get satisfaction out of making other people happy by making their home a great place or their business a great place to be and live. It's very satisfactory. And, it depends on where you work. The people that work here, like I said, make their own schedule. So that's something that's flexibility that people really enjoy about it. So yeah, I think interior design, it's very rewarding, and you could be creative and take it out on and with vendors and clients and just enjoy it. And so I really recommend it if you think that's something you'd like to do. And again, if you have the people skills and want to go in their homes and get to know them, or if you have the commercial skills and you want to just sit behind a computer and do layouts all day, there's different avenues for different people. But yeah, I highly recommend it.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. We learned a lot about your career as an interior designer, and you answered all of our questions. So thank you so much for taking your time.
You're welcome.
Hey guys, we just finished our wonderful interview with an interior designer, and we are so excited to share what we learned with you.
Yeah, so one thing I learned today that I didn't know before is to be an interior designer, you need a lot of people skills. They collaborate with their clients so much.
No, definitely. You have to understand them on a deeper level to be able to make them a house or a ballroom in the hotel's case that they like.
Yeah, you also have to just be able to make sure that you can really communicate with people. Another thing I took away from this was that every single day will look different depending on the project.
If you like spontaneity,
yeah, it won't be like a set routine.
I feel like it would be really cool to work in her office because of all the the comfortable office hours and things like that. I feel like that she's making her environment like that is really cool.
Her office also sounded really cool.
Yeah, she described it with chandeliers, and she has these different areas with tiles and
I also found it interesting that they have to collaborate with the contractors and the vendors so much, and they have a lot of they have some struggles ordering all the equipment.
especially considering that there's a lot of things that happen during transport or things that they can't really control, but the client talks to them, so they're responsible for handling how the client sort of responds.
No, there's so many moving parts in the whole situation. It must be
and they
so
have to do a lot of damage control, especially making sure that they still keep the client happy.
And I feel like it's not I feel like it's not you have to have people skills for the job. It's your entire job is revolving around people skills, because you have to be able to understand that person to build the perfect what Sasha said, to build the perfect thing for them.
One thing that I took away, kind of building off of what you said, she never has artist block, or she never doesn't know what she needs to do, because by getting to know these people and getting to know their personality, getting to know what they like, just from talking to them, even if they don't know what they like, she can just kind of build off of that and create a space that they love.
Another thing she said that stuck with me is that you have to have some sort of innate ability to work with colors or fabrics and stuff like that.
And sort of just
she was an artist from the beginning, which I didn't think
helped. You can always make yourself an artist, just you can't go into that job itself with no idea of how colors look well together, the
creative
fabric textures. You have to have some sort of baseline for that.
And all that she cared about in the end was making sure that the customer is happy no matter what challenges they face during the process.
Simone, do you want to ask?
Oh yeah, I think that she has a lot of patience, especially because it takes a lot of time for each material to come in, but then talking to the client, even though it's not her fault for all these mistakes that are happening or these problems that are coming up. So I think patience is a really big thing in her.
No, definitely.
Yeah, if it was me, I would just be it's not my fault.
So taking responsibility for something, even though it isn't your fault. Again, this can probably apply over many different professions, but that is just a skill in general that is hard to do sometimes, but something that's necessary.
And as an entrepreneur, she's dealing with so many things, and the fact that she made it a priority to bend over backwards to fix a client's problem, it's really, really cool.
Especially because a lot of companies wouldn't be willing to eat the cost of things that sort of are a disadvantage to their customers, because they sort of consider profit over their customers.
Yeah, it shows how it's more of a passion project for her rather than just another job.
Yeah, and that's the difference she highlighted between working in the corporate world versus being an entrepreneur, right?
You can make your own decisions, it's up to you, not your boss or something.
Your values drive how you run your company, how you want it to be branded.
Okay, so I think we learned a lot from this interview, and we took away some great things.
if you want to share what you learned in the comments, that'd be great too.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
Bye.